Welcome to The Fault. We have two brothers breaking down their business mistakes. Hi, I'm Jared, and today on The Fault, I will be talking about how frustrating it can be for everybody involved when you don't understand your client well enough.
And I'm Jay, and I'll be going on a bit of a frustrated rant, because that's where I am with business, with culminating in the idea that I need to have a stronger North Star. I don't know if I don't remember signing up for that. I'm bringing the low energy today. You can handle the top, because you're just over there just bubbling and bouncing.
Be doing their English training next year. They'll have done their TNA, their training needs analysis. But actually what they're doing is they're setting their budget now, but they're not deciding how they're going to spend their budget until next year, till like January. Buddy, welcome to The Fault. I am Jared. I am the CEO of Worldwide English Services, where we customize and deliver online English training courses for business and government clients. And I am here with my brother, Jay. Jay, who are you? What do you do? And how are you?
I'm Jay. I'm your brother. I'm a little bit low energy today, but we're going to push through it. And I have a business. I sell cabinets in the local North Philadelphia area.
So something that not all of our audience members know about you, Jay, is that you are a balancer. That means when there's a lot of high energy going on around you, you balance it out by swinging in low energy. But if everybody around you is just like kind of down and gloomy, you pick things up. So what I'm thinking of for our show here is I might just dial it way, way back
to trigger.
And then yes, manipulation. That's how we do things here at The Fault.
That's interesting. That's interesting you brought that up, and this will distract me from the way I'm feeling right now. So let's really dive into what you're talking about. So the difference is, though, that so what you said is correct. So if the energy's here, I need to get to right here. The thing is, though, the difference is that people might not realize, you included, even though you're my brother, is that I got to look at you over here. Is that if I'm the difference between where I naturally am in my mood versus where the compulsion leads me to be is the amount of stress that or stress that I'll feel. So when people ask, are you an introvert or an extrovert? I can be very extroverted if the situation matches my the impulse, that whatever that is inside me that is genuine and that is part of my personality. If those things match, then it's not exhausting. However, if I come in, for example, right now, I'm low energy today. I feel kind of empty. I don't feel particularly I don't have the zest today. And if you were to trigger that, then I might raise up, but that would be more exhausting. And afterwards, I'd be like, ugh, because it was whatever. During it, I wouldn't necessarily notice it unless it's prolonged. But yeah, so that's just someone to clarify that.
All I have to say, that is worth it. For our podcast viewers, we're willing to sacrifice your mental acuity and health. It's okay.
I knew you were learning Arabic. I didn't know you spoke French. You said we are ready to sacrifice.
Oh yeah, multilingual, a polyglot over here.
Yeah, right. I don't know if I don't remember signing up for that. I'm bringing the low energy today. You can handle the top, because you're just over there just bubbling and bouncing.
I am super excited. I am happy to be recording with you, and we did it. We had this week. We are recording our second episode, because last week we skipped one, and we try to stay well ahead of all you folks out there. So you have your weekly content to listen to. Sit down with your cup of coffee and have your great time once a week that you look forward to. And I noticed on our first episode this week that when we recorded that I felt out of touch or out of a shape a little bit. Things weren't super tight like they have been in this episode, obviously very tight. And so I'm happy to be back, because as we do here, reps, when you have a lot of reps and make your mistakes, you figure it out and you get better. So with that smooth transition, how about I'm going to give you the choice. Would you like me to talk about my mistake first, and so you can sit back and relax for a little bit, or would you like to get yours out?
Not relaxing. As the audience can attest to, it's not relaxing listening to the debacle that you have created over there at Wes. It stresses us out, honestly. But this is what we're here for, and so let's hear in what way you absolutely Titanic this week. What?
Okay. All right, I'm gonna lead the way strong. Icebergs are right ahead. Here we go.
There you go.
So my mistake for this week. So I had a couple meetings with clients and three pretty big clients, one that we're going to get and two or three that I hope we're going to get, put off our next step until the middle of January. And I realized I completely misjudged the corporate calendar. So I thought I needed to be here October, November, December, because people are setting their objectives, their budgets, their plans for next year, 2025 in this case. But it turns out that in December, they're super busy wrapping up the previous year. So they're wrapping up the end of 2024, and then they won't be getting back to 2025 until next month, January. So what we have is I'm here and I'm completely useless, or nearly completely useless. So everybody's busy with their own taking care of things and not returning my calls at all. And it's very frustrating for me. And so I call them like 3 times and they don't respond and they get a little frustrated. So I realized this finally. And also a lot of people are taking vacations. So even the people who are here that are holding down the fort and wrapping up 2024, and they're with a skeleton crew. They're running a skeleton crew. So what that is teaching me is, as always, we need to be much better at understanding our clients and their situation. So this is a really good lesson for me to understand the corporate calendar, to know when to expect what. And your clients also appreciate it. I've been pushing people under the assumption that we need to get things done, because if we hit January, February, March, they'll already have everything locked in. They'll have figured out who they want to be doing their English training next year. They'll have done their TNA, their training needs analysis. But actually what they're doing is they're setting their budget now, but they're not deciding how they're going to spend their budget until next year, till like January, February. So so I'm going to take a couple weeks here to sort of relax a little bit and focus on other things. And then in January, so like 2 weeks, whatever, in January, I'll get back at it, since that's when people will have their budgets and be able to spend them. So yes, the mistake, to wrap all that up, is know your client. And I misjudged that one entirely. I would have been better off spending a couple weeks somewhere else and then coming back and spending my time and money here in a more advantageous time period. So that was it for me.
Yeah, and you spoke last episode about the pressure that you feel when you go to Saudi, that it is a time of production, a time of selling. How does this realization that you may have misjudged or what you just described, how does that affect the way that you are trying to deal with that pressure? What is your attitude towards it?
It's mixed, I guess. The negative part is certainly that I don't have clients saying, yes, let's talk. I'll meet you on Tuesday. Where do we go from here? And so that's frustrating, of course. The other side is, though, that it helps that I'm already doing the groundwork. So I'm already working on fixing that problem that I talked about last time. So I'm feeling better about it. And actually, I'm staying in an apartment that costs much less than I paid in the past. And actually, it's a much nicer apartment. So even that, I realized psychologically is helping, because I've had the pressure in the past of, I live in a crappy place and I spend so much money on it. So I'm not happy. I'm in an uncomfortable place and I'm spending money. And so there has to be a reason for this. But in this apartment, it's actually easier, I'm realizing, because I enjoy being here. It's a nice apartment to live in and I'm spending much less. So that has really helped. Certainly.
That's a nice combination. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure. So that has helped. But and so it'll be okay. I have there are other things to work on, and also it could also help to take some time off to relax and read,
Yeah,
things like that. And we'll see what happens back in January.
interesting.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it was. It's nice to think of a bunch of half responses, but it's just interesting. I'm just processing that. Well, it's nice that it's less pressure. I mean, you don't have there's no alleviation as far as you're not having the sales and the success and the yeses. But there is a bit of a welcome. Well, and maybe I'm projecting here, but when the decision is kind of made for you, when it's impossible to progress on these projects and stuff, it might take a little bit of the stress off and just be like, okay, well, you can only do so much if they're not in the office. So let's not Titanic. Let's just relax a little bit, recoup it, and hit it hard in January. Wow.
Yeah, folk, and there are plenty of other things to work on. We got this project
Yep.
you and I are working on,
Yeah.
generating other content. Like I said, reading a
Yes.
couple interesting books, working through
Nice.
some things with my therapist on the old headspace, and so there are plenty of things to work on. So
Definitely.
it's okay. The money is there,
Definitely.
so I don't have to like worry about living under a bridge next week. And since I don't have to worry about that, it's okay, more or less. We can put off success
That is for you.
a little bit. So we'll see.
Good for
But
you.
it was it was really good. It's a good reminder to stay just super locked in on the client's calendar and their situation and work around it. It helps both expectations all around, and then also just when people understand that you understand them, it's a really powerful connection. When they mention that or when you even beat them to the punch. I've noticed this a lot of times when you can say, and the next one is going to be Ramadan here. So in Ramadan will be March, April, I think. And so when I can come to the clients and say, all right, you're going to need to change your schedule, right? And they're like, yes, okay, cool. He understands it. And actually he's been here before. He's beating me to the punch on this. That really helps, because if you sound like you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
they feel understood. You go from there.
It reduces that cultural divide, or at least the perceived cultural divide. Be like, oh, it's a little closer to it. He's not part of it, but at least he understands it. And that's nice.
That too.
Cool.
For sure.
Well, I know where you will not be December of next year.
Where will I not be? Oh, you are right. We're gonna
In Riyadh.
We haven't really. One thing we haven't done with our podcast yet, and we need to get. Maybe this can be a mistake for another time. Although I'm going to spoil it now. It would be good to start a list of the mistakes we're making, the physical vault, basically, of our eponymous blog, podcast, and then start to come back to them, as we have been planning to do from the beginning, to revisit and do some updates. That would be helpful. So this one we'll schedule that one for December, for a year from now, which is very, very ambitious of us. We will still be.
Well, you want to do more
content.
You wouldn't be doing that more often, though, right? Like, we could do that once a month. We could do that like one episode.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
No,
I'm just saying.
Cool, actually. We could do each fault that we put in the vault. We could have a date of expiry on it. So this one is one that I want to fix in 2 weeks. This is one that I want to fix next year, for example. And then we could put a timer on it, and 2 weeks later, next year, whenever it is, come back to it. That could be interesting. We'll have to play with that.
Yeah.
See what we think.
No, I'm down with that. More pressure sounds good.
Sounds great. My lips are numb just thinking about it.
Another expectation. And actually, I'm just going to hijack it. That brings me to mine, which is, it's not a very full one. Again, like I said, I'm feeling lower energy. I'm not feeling quite confident. I don't feel qualified to be telling anybody anything. I know that we're just sharing our own experiences here, and I'm trying to focus on that aspect of it, or that mission. But so I think it was either last episode or before, I was talking about getting this bigger apartment complex and focusing on the one. And I just hit a number of snafus with that. Also, responses from two people that are in positions of mentorship. And so combined with everything else, I'm just kind of like, I'm just discouraged. And it's just so I guess the mistake is that I think I've talked about this before. I don't know if it was a mistake, and I apologize if I'm repeating, but if I did say it before, I haven't learned the lesson, so problem. I definitely felt this before, and I've said this in a number of different ways, I think, but having a clearer mission. I've always been kind of reticent to have a stronger mission or a stronger goal, because I don't because I've let myself down too many times with my goals, and I don't want to have another one, or I just forget because my mind is crazy. And so I literally, goals take maintenance, at least for me. I don't even know how people keep one thing in their mind, even something that's relatively large. I get batted around and I forget a little bit, or I forget. But having that would help bolster. It would help keep the ship more steady if I have the weight of a goal that was stronger. I'm annoyed the up and down of expectation of the idea and the thinking that this is a big project and I would just have to one thing to focus on and instead of trying to get a bunch, and it's a lot of money, and I could buy the cabins at a discount. It's a lot of work all at one time, all things that I want to happen, and then having the carpet being pulled out a little bit, just on my side, not necessarily with the client side, although they haven't responded. I've wrote only one of the two places. Yeah, I'm feeling that the results of that up and down, and I think it would be better if I could just kind of spew and keep rowing, if I can get that faster.
One thing that I really appreciate that you did a while ago, and I don't know if you still do this. When you built your own office space over in Dad's warehouse years ago, you had a big write on wipe off board over there, and that's something that I love that idea just in general, and I've had in my head, like in the slowly forming picture of the ideal home that I want to live in. I have a few items that I want to be in the villa in Crete or wherever it is or whatever it is. And one of them is I want to have an office, and in the office I want to have like perhaps a whole wall is a write on wipe off board or that type of thing. Because I think it's super helpful to have that overall vision or the visualization, the physical visualization. Because I mean, I have everything on my phone, which is great, that works well, but it really helps to have that space, I think. So I've always appreciated that you did that, but it occurred to me, I don't think you have that where you are now. So 2 questions. Number 1, do you? I guess I see the answer to that question. And number 2, do you think that might help with the maintaining sight of the North Star for your company? Or
Yeah. No, I do. I think it's a piece of a larger puzzle, but I think it definitely would. And as with way too many things in my personal and mainly business life, it is the sort of thing where it's waiting on my office to be done, which has been 2 years. And so if I don't have that done, then where am I going to put the board? I had the board right over there. I had the same board. It's 30 feet away. And so, but if I'm not going to put the office together, then, and I don't put it, like I have a vision for that's going to be in this situation isn't correct. And so I can't put the board up. And so, but no, things like that. Yeah. And I think I just need to be more relentless at chipping away at the bottom, the things that are holding I was going to say that as well, that recently, this is tangential. I'm just kind of expressing now, but I feel professionally constipated. There's a number of things that I'm trying to do now, and a lot of them are blocked by other things. And
yes,
there's definitely like good being the enemy of no, great being the enemy of good. Not prioritizing things correctly, having just trying to do too much or not doing enough, and not being focused on the most important things. All those things are all part of it, but I just feel tied up right now with all of that, and I haven't been responding as productively as I should, and so, or it would be more helpful if I was being more productive about it. So, yeah, that's a small thing. They would help with a bigger problem that's being held up by another small problem. It's like, bro,
yep.
so if I could just chip away,
Forget I ever
it's like,
started anything.
yeah, it's like a
year. Write on wipe off boards do not work.
ugh, I have to figure out how to clean it
Well,
too because there's
I
still remnants
remind
on
you
'em.
of that.
No, it's not. No, that's just it has nothing to. No, that's the problem still persists. It's just It's just, yeah. Anyway, I've lost some of the thing. There's just expressing some of the stuff that's been going on. But that's just the way it is. Do not start a business, people. Don't live out your dreams. That's the message of this podcast. They'll be stay in your job and learn. Sorry, that was too close to the mic. I don't hear how it comes out, so that was annoying.
Just bit of day, not on the evening for yourself, and a little time on Saturday is more than enough. You do not need more than that to enjoy your life.
That's the thing. It's yeah. But anyway, and real quick, I just have to share this real quick. This is hilarious. I saw this today. Hold on.
Boyfriend might be the number one reason.
Hey, hold on. Sorry, one more thing.
Your girlfriend or boyfriend might be the number one reason that you're not succeeding. The one question that I like to ask.
I just laughed out loud when I heard that. I don't know why. It's just like, what a way to start a video. So that's really my problem. Even though I'm single, that's really my number one problem also while I'm listing my problems. Anyway, all right, I'm done with complaining over here. But yeah, that's what's been on my mind recently. There's a number of mistakes in there, but that's my part.
Yep. Sounds like you're pretty overwhelmed, and hopefully that will get easier. You've talked about the one solution. I've mentioned this to multiple people that you talked about one of our earlier episodes, which was taking the bigger problem and figuring out the small bottleneck within that overall problem that's actually making you feel overwhelmed and tackling that little one.
Hitting that.
Well, now I don't know that I've done that yet, but I have it in mind for when that situation comes up, and I mentioned it to other people because I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
I've done them with smaller ones, and then it gets stopped. It just takes energy and confidence and it takes energy to be able to chip away at those things. But
for sure.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yep.
I had that in mind all the time.
Cool.
Do we have anybody? Are we have a sponsor for this week?
Yes, we actually do, which is really good.
Oh, nice.
So here's the thing. I talked a little bit about how I'm enjoying living in this apartment, and this is something that this apartment does not have. It's the one thing that would make there are two things that would make this apartment better. The main one, though, is that like many apartments in Saudi Arabia, the windows are minimal, and I'm not sure why they do that here, but in this room, the living room, there's a window with paper over it, and the bedroom there's actually a window. And that's it. And then there are two frosted glass windows, one each in the bathroom and in the kitchen. So really there's one actual window in the entire apartment. So if you have ever wanted to make your tiny apartment look bigger, if you've ever wanted to know how to get up in the morning, then we recommend our sponsor for today, which is floor to ceiling windows. You stick those puppies in there, one wall to the other side of the wall, and it is like a whole new world. I lived in a studio in Bahrain, and I never really felt that small, even though it was possibly the smallest apartment I've ever lived in for a substantial amount of time, because the ceilings were tall and there was floor to ceiling windows, and it was fantastic. I looked out of the windows every day, enjoyed the view. The one thing you do need to keep in mind, because this is our sponsor for today, if you pick up a floor-to-ceiling window for yourself, we get actually 3% of the glass. So we can, if you just let us know, send us an email, and we will give you a mailing address where you can send the 3% that comes to us. And we will, so we appreciate that, but it's absolutely worth it. Like 97% of a floor-to-ceiling glass is honestly more than you need. It's really
yes,
it does the trick for you. So so that's our sponsor for today. I'm really excited to start those the glass shavings rolling in. I've got big plans for them, including this apartment. I think I can knock out.
Really,
we get enough of our subscribers to pick up a couple.
I was just going to ask you what we're going to plan to do with the shavings, because you're only going to get 1.5 of them. This is a 2-person podcast.
Of course.
So what would you do with
what we do actually? Since we live in different countries, continents, halves of the world, we're going to just kind of alternate. You and I haven't discussed this yet, actually, but this is what I think would be fair. So since it's my sponsor, I got this one. The first subscriber we have that picks up a floor to ceiling window will send me the 3%. The next one will send you, and so on and so forth. But mine, absolutely. The living room right here, I want this wall behind you all just has the window with the paper, and I want whole thing. So get out there, everybody. If you all pick up 2, maybe 3 each, we'll get that window in no time.
It's like, I don't even know what to say. By Florida ceiling windows, I guess. This is why you listen to this podcast. We have great ideas, and we don't. We
look out for you guys, really. Like, of course.
I'm gonna make a mosaic. I'm gonna make a mosaic with my shards of glass. So I'll put them. Yeah. And I'll use it as punishment for if I don't build my business in the next year, then I'm gonna walk on the glass and I'll live stream it. It'll be part of the episode. That's my punishment for it because we need consequences. But yes, I wish you luck with your piece together 3% at a time for a silly window in an apartment you don't own. That makes
it's a good deal. It's a great deal. All right. Well,
wonderful.
Thank you everybody for watching. Jay, this would be with you, my friend, my brother, and my business owner. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.